Hi everyone, this is Satyajit. Welcome to my channel Cloud Journey with Satyajit. So today we are going to discuss about what are the advantages of VPC peering and what are the limitations of VPC peering. Okay. So in my earlier videos, I already explained about the steps for creating the VPC peering connections and how the routing will be changes and how the communications can happen between VPCs if it is in same region, same account, or same region, different account. Okay. So VPC peering can be established between different region. Let's say one VPC is in Mumbai region and another VPC is in Northern Virginia region in the same account, then we can peer each other. And if the VPC is in Mumbai region in one account and another account, one VPC is there in the Mumbai region, so both can be peered. So peering can be done by multiple ways. Same region, same account, and same region, different account, and different region in different account. Okay, so peering can be established. So now advantages, the first one is the connectivity. Okay, so the VPC peering enables connections between two VPCs without having to route traffic to public internet. We don't have to add any public routing. Only we need to add the destinations towards the VPC peering. Like yesterday explained, like source A, once source A IP need to be whitelisted in the destinations, and destinations IP need to be whitelisted on the source side, and that is that should be routed towards the VPC peering connections. Okay, we don't have to allow any internet connections for that connectivity, so that as communications always happen privately, it will be faster, because the public communications, there will be a little bit of latency, so and that is not secure. As it is private communications, it is faster, and there will be no security issues. And VPC peering is cost effective. Okay, we don't have to pay any extra cost. Only the data transfer cost, which is that is depend like how much frequent data you are sending it, and that should go over that. That is data transfer cost associated, because that is from availability zone to zone. That cost will be associated. But establishing the VPC peering, that should no cost and very negligible cost. Okay, and the network architecture is simplified. Only you need to add the specific routing level changes, then only you can make the communications. Then improve disaster recovery. Let's say you want your VPC is in one region, Mumbai region. Okay, and if your Mumbai region VPC is down, okay, so if another VPC is there in the uh, other region, it's a simplicity disaster recovery. Like you can create another VPC in different region, but that is not completely disaster recovery. This is just simplified, we can say. But a disaster recovery is a different vast topic we can discuss in my next videos. But you can say this is a little bit of advantages. Okay, and these are the advantages of VPC peering. Okay, when coming to the limitations of VPC peering, okay, so the first one is saying VPC peering is limited to the same cloud provider. It means like you cannot establish a peering between AWS VPC and Azure VNet. Okay, you cannot make it, because that VPC peering is not supported. In VNet peering in Azure, it is supported. If Azure you have two VNet, like the VPC, the name in Azure they called as a virtual network VNet, so their VNet peering is possible. But AWS VPC and Azure VNet cannot be paired with each other. For them, VPN must to be established. Okay, so that is different. VPC peering is not supportable. And second one is IP address overlap. It means, let's, you are in one organizations. Okay, so there a VPC A, and which CIDR range is 10.0.0.0/16, and they have a customer. Okay, and they are the service provider for that customer, and due to some requirement, they want to communicate with each other. So their resources and your company or your organization's resources wants to communicate with each other. So you thought to establish the peering connections. Okay, if the customer, like the customer which you are providing the support, if their CIDR range is same 10.0.0.0/16, then it will be a problem. You cannot make the VPC peering connections, because VPC peering connection is not allowed between the same VPC if the IP address is overlapped. Okay, we can verify it. I can show you. Okay, so I have a VPC A in the, if the, okay, I'm in Mumbai region. Let me go to the Mumbai region, and I have VPC A and VPC B. Okay, let me create, I will not create any more resources, just I will see VPC C I am creating, and I am creating with same range. Okay, 10.0.0/16. Okay, and create VPC. I'm not doing anything, no internet, nothing, for simplicity, just I've created. So if you see, VPC C is also 10.0.0/16, VPC A also 10. So now I need to create a peering connections between them. So create peering connections. So VPC A to VPC C. Okay, and I'm requester VPC A, and if it is in same account, same region, so I'm external is VPC C, and create peering connections. So here it is clearly saying a peering connections cannot be created between two VPCs that have overlapping CIDR. Please select two VPC which have distinct CIDR. So same CIDR we cannot create it. Okay, for so it is in same region. So if you see, I'm in Northern Virginia region. So in a Northern Virginia region, I created one VPC that is also 10.0.0/16, and here VPC A in the Mumbai region, that is also 10.0. So now I can try to establish between different region. So let us see what is the error it will fail. So I'm creating a peering connections. So VPC A MU, I'm typing Mumbai to VPCC Northern Virginia. Okay, so here it is a VPCA. It is my account, but different region. So I need to select the Northern Virginia region, US East 1, and the VPC ID, which is the acceptor. So I need to, it's Northern Virginia VPCC. So VPC ID we need to copy and add the VPC ID. Okay, and create peering connection. So it is peering connection is created. Okay, but see what will be the error. If you see, it is failed. Okay, VPCA to Mumbai to VPCC Northern Virginia is failed. What is the fail? Why it is failed? What is the error? Failed due to incorrect VPC ID, maybe account ID, or overlapping CIDR range. Okay, so now account ID is not correct because we are using same account. VPC ID is already correct because I copied the VPC ID from here. This is my VPC ID. And then the third thing is overlapping CIDR. So as both CIDR are overlapping, then that is the error. So you cannot create VPC peering between two VPCs if the CIDR overlap with each other. Okay, that is the second one. The third one is the limited routing control, right? Like every time if you have multiple VPCs, it's very complicated for you to make the routing level changes to every subnet and every route table. It will be very, very complicated. If you have a 1, 2 or 2, 3 VPCs, that is okay. But if your environment having multiple VPC, like there is a dev, and so you may ask question like why they require multiple VPCs. Okay, so as you know, VPC is a virtual private data center. It's like it is a data center, but that is virtually you have created in the AWS cloud provider. Okay, so then if a company having dev environment, stage environment, pre-prod environment, prod environment, so they want all should be separately created, not to be created in a single VPC. So for that, dev is so if you have 5 environment, let's say dev, stage, test, pre-prod, prod. Okay, let me these are the then you have to create separate VPCs. Okay, so if separate VPC, so you want they all should be paired with each other, then there will be many peering connections. If there are many number of peering connections, routing also it will be very, very difficult. So that is little complicated. Okay, then it's saying no transitive peering. So if you see the architecture diagram, so now I have a VPC A and I have a VPC B. So both are peering each other, peering between VPC A and VPC B. Now VPC A and C also paired with each other. It doesn't mean that VPC B and C will be automatically paired. So in mathematics, we have transitive rule. A equal to B and A equal to C. So we conclude like B equal to C. But here it is not possible. So just like VPC A is paired with VPC B and VPC A is paired with VPC C, it doesn't mean that VPC B should pair with VPC C. We must have to create a pairing connections. So transitive pairing is not allowed. That is one thing. Okay. And next number of thing is like, if you have a many VPC, 4 VPC, okay. So then how many pairing connections? If you have 4 VPC, let's say here we have 3 VPC. How many pairing connections? So VPC A and VPC B, 1 pairing. VPC A and VPC C, 2 pairing, and VPC B and VPC C, 3. So 3 number of pairing connections. If you have 3 VPC, you have to make 3 pairing connections. Let's say we have 4 number VPC, then how many pairing connections? So VPC A and VPC B, 1 pairing. So I made the color coding so that we can identify, we can count it. So this is 1. Then VPC A is paired with VPC C, 2. VPC C is paired with VPC D, 3. And VPC D is paired with VPC B, 4. And then VPC A with D and VPC B with C. So if you calculate, count all, there are 6 number of pairing connections. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 pairing connections. If you have 4 VPC, let's calculate. If you have 10 number of VPC, then how to calculate? The formula is n into n minus 1 by 2. I wrote at the end, if VPC equal to n, the number of pairing connection is equal to n into n minus 1 by 2. It means if you have a 10 number of VPC, then 10 into 9 by 2, it means 45 number of pairing connections you have to make. Now we have created 3 VPC. So VPC equal to 3 and pairing 3 into 2 by 2, it equal to 3. So that's the reason we have created 3 pairing connections. So here you have to make 3 pairing connections. Now 4 VPC. So 4 into 4 minus 1 by 2 means 4 into 3 by 2, 6. So if you manually try it, so total 6 number of pairing connections is required. So just understand, if 6 number of pairing connections, then we have to make it restrictions, okay? And inside that VPC, we have, let's say 10 number of 20 number of EC2 instance, and we want to make it restrict. Someone has not to be reached to some server. So it will be very, very complicated for one admin to manage all such pairing connections. Okay, so that is the very limitations. Okay, so these all are the limitations of VPC pairing. Okay, so advantages are there, but limitation is there. Okay, if the number of VPC increased and they want to pair with each other or communicate with each other, then it will be very, very difficult for an administrator to manage it and to manage the route level changes. Okay, so to overcome that, so what is the solutions? So in my earlier videos, I told like there are multiple ways to communicate. One is VPC pairing. Next one is we have a transit gateway. Okay, so transit gateway is very, very advanced. We don't have to create multiple transit gateway. Okay, we have to create one transit gateway so that if you have n number of VPC, they can communicate with each other. And also transit gateway supports site-to-site VPN and direct connections also. So we will discuss more in that transit gateway in our next videos. Okay. So we have multiple ways. One is VPC peering, we have transit gateway, we have private link, and we have VPN setup. Okay, so we will discuss each one by one with all those use cases. Okay, so that's it about the VPC peering, that advantages. So we whenever we want to start any new services, we need to understand what are the advantages or what is the problem of our existing services. Just like now we need to understand what is transit gateway. Okay, so before transit gateway, how the communication was happening, like the VPC peering, then what is the limitations of VPC peering. Okay, then we will understand that limitations, does that covered in transit gateway or not. Okay, so we will discuss more into the transit gateway. Okay, thank you for watching my videos. If you have any concern, please put the comments, then I will respond that. Thank you.